me get this straight. Wisconsin is seated in the East, and the Badgers will be opening up in the West. I guess that makes perfect sense if you're NCAA. I thought that they were trying to save money this year. No matter, go figure. If you look at the draw, though, it's not as bad as you might think. Wisconsin versus Florida State. Very good team. Good athletic team. But there's some common ground between these two programs. The Badgers beat Florida State in the Big Ten ACC Challenge in '06. So they have an understanding of how Leonard Hamilton coaches the game. I think that's bound to help. Now, if the Badgers can get past their first round draw, look at Xavier and Portland State. Xavier really stumbled at the end of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if you find an upset there. Overall, in this region, everybody has to go with the juice and Pitt. But if Oklahoma State gets past Tennessee, could be a real grinder between the Cowboys and the Panthers. If you're looking for an upset in the East brackets, look in the lower bracket. I don't think Duke's going to get to the regional final. In fact, I like UCLA, a team that's underachieved, and I like Texas, ditto, a team that's also underachieved, to be playing in Boston.
Figure this one out. UConn, the #1 seed in the West region, opens with its first 2-round games in Philadelphia. Doesn't make a lot of geographic sense, but it makes sense for UConn, which has a pretty easy path through the upper bracket of the West region. The team that probably feels the most slighted by not being a #1 seed is Memphis, and Memphis awaits UConn in the other half of the bracket. Memphis, which made the championship game last year, is what you would call an angry #2 seed. I think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder. As for a dark horse in the West region, Purdue looked awfully good in the Big Ten tournament, and the Boilermakers are going to be a tough out for anybody. Of course, they'll have to get past Pac-10 champion Washington and the games in Portland, which is just down the road from Seattle. But Purdue could present a problem for just about anybody.
The rule of thumb in trying to slot teams in your brackets is that you've got to pick a few upsets. A year ago, 2 12s advanced past the first round. That was Villanova, and that was Western Kentucky. I like Western Kentucky to win again in the first round in the South region. But I see this more depending on the health of a point guard. That would be North Carolina's Ty Lawson. If he's ready to go, you can almost anticipate seeing North Carolina play Oklahoma in the regional final for the opportunity to go to Detroit.
You'd think being the #1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament would give you a few benefits, but the only benefit for Louisville in the Midwest region is that it gets to play its games in Dayton and then Indianapolis. Other than that, the committee didn't really do the Cardinals any favors. In the second round, they might have to play Ohio State in Dayton, and the Buckeyes, as we saw in the Big Ten tournament, are a team that's really a young team with a lot of talent that's really coming around. In the third round, Louisville could face Wake Forest, a tough team from a tough league. And in the fourth round, the regional final, Michigan State, the best team in the Big Ten, could be there, or defending champion Kansas could be there. As for a dark horse in the Midwest region, look no further than West Virginia. Coach Bob Huggins' team, West Virginia team, had a great Big East tournament, and they look like a team that could string some upsets together.